Well, the iPhone 15 has been out for some time now, and there's plenty of cases out there. But if you're looking to find a great case for it, then stick around as I'll be covering a variety of cases, ranging from silicone to clear, as well as
leather.
What's up guys, and welcome back to Tech Up. Well, I'm back here again with another iPhone case review, but this time around I've decided to change it up and post a review on 6 iPhone cases that consist of 2 leather cases, 2 clear cases, and 2 silicone cases. So pretty much the main 3 variety of cases one would get. Now these 6 were the most voted on by my viewers and subscribers in a community poll, and I decided to test them out for a couple of weeks and review them in this video, so to help you decide which one's the best. However, without a doubt, all of these variety of cases will have their pros and cons, and there isn't a perfect one, but I'm sure there will be one or a few out of these varieties that would be great to pick up. So without further ado, let's get into this review. I'll first go over the design and features of all these cases and go over the overall fit and protection as well as grip. And lastly, like in my previous reviews, I'll let you know how strong the MagSafe is on these cases. So, starting off with one of the top fan favorite cases, Andar is certainly known to be up there in terms of best leather cases, especially since the Apple leather case is no longer around, and I was happy to have the opportunity to work with them here for this review. But don't worry, as this will be an honest review even with them sending this case. Now first things first, Andar was ready to drop their Aspen iPhone 15 cases right away when the iPhone 15 released. And one thing that struck me as a flaw with their first iteration was that they didn't include a button cover for the action button on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max cases. All they had was a cutout, and I was a little disappointed, but there are several other brands that did that as well and now have been working to fix it. So recently Andar revised their Aspen cases to fix this issue, and they certainly got it right. Now I got my hands on their Technically Red case, and this was a good collab by Aspen to work with Technically T, who I'm pretty sure you guys know is the biggest iPhone case reviewer on YouTube, and this colorway was a solid choice. The red leather and black buttons are excellent. The premium full grain oiled wax leather feels and smells great, and with time it will age nicely. Also, the metal buttons are nice and clicky all around with no flaws. The cutouts at the bottom are the same like the previous models, and the same goes for the lip on the back for the camera. Overall, it's similar to last year's iPhone 14 cases. The fit is the same and just right, with it being fairly easy to put on and take off. And the sides of the case don't flex, and the protection is pretty much similar to the previous Apple leather cases. Not gonna lie, this Aspen case is now the Apple leather case replacement, and if I were looking for something that looks and feels similar to the Apple leather case, this would be it. As for the other leather case that I reviewed, which doesn't get that much attention compared to the Andar and I'd say the Nomad leather cases, is the Mujjo full leather case, and it certainly is very similar to the Andar Aspen. Now, the leather may seem the same when compared to the Andar Aspen case, but it's going to be different. The leather on it is made with premium European tan leather, and it features a more sustainable dry tan water-free leather. As for the buttons, they are all metal buttons, and they certainly have a sharper corner design to them, unlike Andar's case, which has more rounded buttons to the touch. Also, the Mujjo leather case offers a more sharper design along the edges compared to the rounder Andar Aspen case. But the buttons are just as nice and clicky as Andar's case, and the cutouts at the bottom are the same. And the same goes for the lip protection on the camera. As for the flex on the edges of the case, there really is not a lot of flex, and it performs the same way as the Andar Aspen. The fit is very similar as well, and it's easy to put the case on and take it off. Alright, but enough with the leather cases, and let's focus our attention on the clear cases. By the way, and just an FYI, I'm not a fan of clear cases, but when I heard of Dbrand coming out with their clear ghost case, and they advertised that I'll die before it yellows, I had to try it out. Because pretty much every clear case I've had has yellowed over time. But that wasn't the only thing that sold me, as I was interested in the built-in ridges all around the case for its grip and its design, and after testing it out, the grip is great. Also, the buttons have a nice click to them, but I noticed the action button didn't protrude as much as the other buttons. However, that didn't matter to me. It's still easy to click and access them. Moreover, the cutouts at the bottom are nice and wide, and unlike most magnetic rings on the back, the magnetic ring on this case sticks out a little from the rest of the case. And personally, I don't prefer this type of design because I'd want the MagSafe accessories that are attached on the back to be more flush with the case. As for the protection, you're going to get great all-around protection with a nice raised lip on the camera and a decent raised lip on the front of the case. As for the sides, it holds up well with a little flex near the buttons and the bottom part of the case. But in terms of durability, just like any clear case, it easily gets scratches. Just unboxing it and putting the case on and taking it off, it got scratched up in the process. And that's one of the big reasons I'm not a fan of clear cases. They just scuff and scratch up too quickly. Oh, and let's not forget how many fingerprints they get. But aside from that, the fit is great when putting on the case, and it does take a little effort to take it off. As for the yellowing, a couple of weeks of testing it out obviously won't reveal if it yellows or not, so I would have to provide a long-term review later on to let you know. Now, going over the Rhinoshield Mod NX, this isn't your usual clear case, as it comes with a backplate that's separate from the rest of the case. Essentially, it comes with a modular bumper where you can use the clear backplate or decide to rock your iPhone with only the bumper, and it can be a little tricky putting it on or taking it off. But the cool thing about this case is if you don't like the clear backplate that you get, you can decide to custom order another backplate on Rhinoshield's website separately. However, swapping bumpers easily isn't something you can do like with the backplates, as they don't sell them individually. But when it comes down to this case, the bumper certainly feels like something you would find on a thick protective case, and it offers a big raised lip on the back of it that helps in protecting not only the back, but the camera as well, and it features a nice raised lip in the front. However, there's quite a lot of flex near the edges on the front of the case, but I'm certain the case will hold up well against drops, even with a little flex on the bumper, as I've dropped it a couple of times already. As for the buttons, they are great, responsive and clicky to the touch, and the cutout at the bottom is nice and wide, especially the port cutout. But just like the Dbrand Ghost case, this case easily gets smudges and scratches as well after a few weeks of using it. Alrighty, last but not least, the silicone cases. Now, one of the best things I like about silicone cases is their grip, and these two that I reviewed definitely offer that. The first one I'll go over is the ESR Cloud Soft Stash Stand case, and I got this case a while back, and I've certainly enjoyed it. Now, ESR does have other varieties of these cases with this stash stand if you're interested in other iPhone models. But aside from the smooth silicone that gives you a nice grip, kind of like the Apple silicone case, it also includes a neat flip stand around the frame of the camera. And with it, it can be adjusted for various viewing angles. On top of that, I found it very useful with using it to carry my iPhone with my fingers when my hands are full, and it's surprisingly convenient. As for the buttons on this case, they are clicky to the touch like the others, and the cutouts at the bottom are great. Overall, the case has great protection for the camera, but it looks like over time the case will get scratches. Furthermore, the front of the case does offer good protection as well with its subtle raised corner edges. Now, unlike most silicone cases, they have a good amount of flex near the edge of the case, but with this particular one, I was surprised that it only had a little flex on the sides. The buttons and the bottom part of the case were really the only areas that had more give. Also, a lot of silicone cases like this one do have a tendency to get smudges and attract dust and debris, but I think it performs better than a clear case. Lastly, it's fairly easy to put this case on and take it off. As for the other silicone case that I reviewed alongside ESR's was the Caseology Nano Pop case. And unlike the ESR CloudSoft case, this has a hard matte silicone finish. On top of that, it also packs one of the most interesting textured side grips I've tested, and honestly, I've really enjoyed it. But I kinda wish it was along the entire side of the case, as it's only on the lower part of it. As for the rest of the case, it's slippery to the touch with a matte finish. As for the buttons, they are great. Really, none of these cases had bad buttons, including this one. And the port and speaker cutouts are good as well. No complaints there. However, in terms of the edges of this case, it had the most amount of bend and flex, and it was hands down the easiest to put on and take off. But it still offers decent lip protection on the front and the back of the camera. Lastly, it is a case that will leave smudges, but cleaning it will be easier than the ESR case that I reviewed. Alrighty, so you got to see what each of these cases offer. But if you're curious to know how good the magnets are on the back of them for MagSafe accessories, I did test them out with my wallet and my battery pack. I performed several shake tests and found that the ESR Cloud case, along with the Rhinoshield Mod NX case, had the strongest magnets on the back for MagSafe accessories. And after testing them out and measuring their magnetic strength with my Gauss meter, they were clearly the strongest. As for the other four, they seem to have below average magnetic strength. Usually 50 Tesla is where I'd consider the magnetic strength to be not too weak and not too strong. Basically just right, and they were below it. Now, the weakest of the bunch seemed to be the Caseology Nano Pop from these tests. But overall, I hope you were able to get a good idea on which one would be for you. Personally, I'm a big fan of ESR's Cloud Series case, as the protection, grip, and the magnetic strength on the back, along with the useful stash stand, is the best for me out of any of these. Now, it does get dirty over time and has the tendency to attract dust and debris, but there's no perfect case. However, it's the best in my opinion, but that's just me. For some of you guys, silicone may not be the best. Now, Andar and Mujjo's leather cases are really nice options out there, and I hope I was able to help you decide on one or the other. As for the clear cases, to me, I'm not a fan, but I wish Dbrand delivered on a better ghost case. Unfortunately, it gets too many scratches and scuffs, but at the time of this video, when I reviewed it, Dbrand did come out and acknowledge their issues with this case, and said that they would work on coming out with a better scratch-resistant one in 2024. So for those that got one near the time of this video, Dbrand says they're committed to sending a revised ghost case for free when they make it for their recent buyers. So I think that will be a good time to see if this case yellowed or not when I get my hands on the new ghost case. Anyways, let me know what case you'd be getting out of this review. Now, if you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more reviews like this. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you back here for the next one.